Hey guys, today's video is homemade black bean burgers, so if you want to see how I made them, stay tuned. So first things first, we rinsed a can of black beans and spread it out on a tray and then put it in the oven at 375 degrees until the onion and the pepper were done sauteing. Next, we took, the recipe called for half of a large onion, but I found like only one of the layers of a large onion was fine. It did enough. The original recipe calls for half a cup. Since I made the recipe in half, since I'm the only one that'll eat black bean burgers, I did about a quarter of a cup of onion. Now that the onion's off to the side, we're going to cut up a quarter of the bell pepper. Again, cut what the recipe called for in half because I'm only making 1 can of black beans for the burgers. So we're going to cut this up in small little bits again. And then we're taking the onions and the peppers and putting it in a pan with oil. And we are also putting some garlic in with that as well. And we are going to saute it up. And then once that's sauteed, I didn't feel like using the strainer again because I just washed it. So I just put everything on a paper towel and tried to leave the oil in the pan. And then I dabbed another paper towel on top to kind of dry it out a little bit more. Now for the fun stuff, the pepper and the onion are in the bowl, and we're taking 3/4 of a teaspoon of cumin and adding that to the mixture. And that's the cumin. I forgot to show it before, sorry. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. There was a little ball that was getting stuck in. And then next is chili powder, and we're taking 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder. I will link this recipe in the description below because it did end up really good, actually. Instead of putting everything in a bowl, I'd say use a food processor though. And then paprika, and we're going to use 1/8 of a teaspoon of paprika. And then a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs. And then we're going to take 1 large egg and crack it on a flat surface. There's one thing I learned from MasterChef, it's to crack eggs on flat surfaces. Gordon Ramsay, don't at me. And then we have 1/2 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. You guys know what I'm talking about, that word that no one can say. And then last but not least, we have 1 tablespoon of ketchup. The recipe did say you could also use mayo or barbecue sauce, but the ketchup was a little bit lower calories, and I thought it would kind of go with the black bean theme a little bit better, so that's why I used ketchup. And we're going to mix all that up in a bowl. My goal was to make sure all the breadcrumbs looked like it had ketchup on it. That's what I used to judge if it was mixed well enough. And then you're just going to add your black beans to this mixture. Again, I would recommend doing this in a food processor just to get the black beans a little bit smoother, because that was my issue with the final product. Not so much the taste. They tasted fantastic. And then you want to mix that up or pulse it. And then I tried using a mashed potato masher at one point, and the black beans just kind of went through. So if you have like a smaller mashed potato masher, it might work with like smaller grates, but the one I had did not work very well. And then we're going to form this into patties. I got about 3.5 patties with half the recipe. Once we have the patties formed, we're going to put them on a baking sheet and bake them in the oven at 375 for 10 minutes on each side.